Unlocking the science of influence in human behaviors. The power of neurocognitive intelligence. Imagine a tense negotiation unfolding in a dimly lit boardroom. Across the table sits a counterpart whose every movement, hesitation, and glance could signal intentions far beyond words. One wrong read could cost millions, derail a strategic partnership, or ignite conflict. In another scenario, a law enforcement operative confronts a suspect in a high-stakes interrogation. The subject's tone, posture, fleeting facial expressions reveal more than the spoken statements. And success hinges on the officer's ability to read, anticipate, and influence behavior. In these moments, victory is not determined solely by strength, rhetoric, or preparation. It is determined by insight into the human mind. Understanding behavior at this level is not intuition. It is skill honed through observation, analysis, and practice. This is where neurocognitive intelligence, or NCI, transforms outcomes. Neurocognitive intelligence is a systematic, scientific framework for understanding and shaping human behavior. At its core, NCI examines the interplay between cognition, perception, and action, providing a reliable method for observing behavioral patterns, predicting responses, and ethically influencing decisions. Unlike generic personality frameworks, NCI combines field-tested observation, psychological insight, and strategic influence into an integrated approach. It reveals not only what people do, but why they do it, how they interpret their environment, and how subtle shifts in interaction can guide outcomes. With NCI, human behavior ceases to be a mystery. It becomes a map, navigable and actionable for those trained to read it. The origins of NCI lie in the real-world experiences of Chase Hughes, who spent decades refining the system in environments where mistakes carry the highest stakes. Field testing began with elite military teams, where operators needed to assess intentions rapidly and accurately in chaotic conditions. The framework was further honed with intelligence professionals, including CIA operatives, who relied on behavioral insight for operational success, and law enforcement officers confronting complex human dynamics in investigations and negotiations. Later, NCI extended into the corporate arena, guiding Fortune 500 leaders in decision-making, negotiation, and organizational influence. Across these diverse contexts, the system proved its reliability. Understanding human behaviors, when applied systematically, creates measurable advantage in both critical and everyday situations. This book offers readers access to the 4 foundational systems of NCI, each designed to provide tools that permanently enhance perception, analysis, and influence. These systems allow you to construct accurate mental maps of individuals, deconstruct behaviors into actionable components, design interactions to guide outcomes, and recalibrate reality to align perception with intention. Learning these frameworks transforms more than professional capability. Transforms the way you experience reality itself. Everyday interactions, from workplace negotiations to personal relationships, gain clarity, precision, and effectiveness. By the end of this book, you will possess a methodical approach to observing, understanding, and shaping human behaviors, an elite-level skill set previously reserved for operatives, leaders, and experts who cannot afford to be wrong. The power of neurocognitive intelligence lies in its universality and adaptability. It does not rely on brute force, manipulation, or deception. It relies on understanding the fundamental mechanics of thought and behaviors. This book begins by teaching the principles, then moves into practical applications, offering exercises and real-world examples that allow you to internalize and master the NCI systems. Success in any high-stakes scenario, or even in daily interactions, is no longer left to chance. With NCI, human behaviors become a landscape you can navigate, influence, and ultimately transform, opening possibilities for personal mastery, professional excellence, and lasting impact. By engaging with these systems, you are not simply learning techniques. You are rewiring perception, sharpening intuition, and cultivating an advanced lens through which the human mind and social interaction can be understood. This book is your gateway to a lifelong skill set that elevates awareness, decision-making, and influence to a level previously attainable only by those operating at the pinnacle of human performance. NCI equips you to see beyond surface actions, comprehend underlying motivations, and act with precision, empowering you to achieve outcomes that were once thought impossible. The science of behaviors profiling. Human behaviors are far from random. It emerges as a complex system of patterns shaped by cognition, emotion, and environment. Every action, gesture, and expression is the product of underlying mental processes that govern decision-making, emotional responses, and social interaction. From the way someone tilts their head to the subtle modulation of their voice, behaviors reflect internal states, sometimes consciously expressed, often unconsciously revealed. At its core, behaviors profiling is the systematic study of these patterns, seeking to understand not just what people do, but why they do it. By recognizing the regularities and triggers in human action, we can anticipate responses, interpret intent, and ethically guide interactions toward desired outcomes. Central to this science are the cues, clues, and signals that people emit continuously, often without awareness. Microexpressions, those fleeting facial movements lasting fractions of a second, reveal concealed emotions such as fear, doubt, or deception. Posture, gestures, and body orientation communicate confidence, openness, or defensiveness. Speech patterns, tone, cadence, and word choice convey emotional states and cognitive processing styles. Even unconscious behaviors, like pupil dilation, self-soothing gestures, or shifts in weight, provide insight into internal states and decision-making tendencies. Skilled behaviors profiling involves reading these signals holistically, understanding that each cue is part of an interconnected system that communicates intentions and reactions beyond explicit language. It is crucial, however, to distinguish behaviors profiling from stereotyping. While profiling seeks to analyze observable, situationally grounded behaviors, stereotyping imposes assumptions based on superficial characteristics such as age, gender, or ethnicity. Effective behaviors profiling relies on evidence derived from direct observation, context, and pattern recognition. It does not presume intent based on preconceived notions or biased frameworks. The difference is fundamental. Rigorous profiling is a disciplined, scientific approach that isolates signals from noise, while stereotyping conflates correlation with causation, often leading to inaccurate and potentially harmful conclusions. Mastery of behavioral profiling demands ongoing verification, adaptability, and a commitment to objectivity. Observation lies at the heart of behaviors profiling. Field-tested techniques emphasize both breadth and depth of attention. Practitioners are trained to monitor multiple channels simultaneously: facial expressions, micro-gestures, vocal patterns, posture, and environmental interactions. Context is critical. A nervous gesture in a casual setting may have different significance than the same gesture under pressure. Observers learn to calibrate their assessments, noticing deviations from baseline behaviors that indicate stress, deceit, or heightened engagement. Through repeated exposure and careful practice, subtle cues that would escape an untrained eye become meaningful data points. Observation is not passive. It is active engagement with the environment, continuously gathering and analyzing information to construct a dynamic, real-time understanding of human intent and mindset. Behaviors profiling, when practiced with precision, transforms human interactions. It allows negotiators to detect hesitation before it is verbalized, enables leaders to recognize unspoken resistance within teams, and equips law enforcement officers to identify deception or imminent risk. Beyond professional applications, these skills enrich everyday life, improving communication, empathy, and decision-making by revealing the unspoken patterns that shape social behaviors. In essence, the science of behaviors profiling illuminates the invisible architecture of human action, offering a roadmap for understanding the mind through the body and behaviors.